Good afternoon. Glad to see you all here. And if you're tuning in on the replay, welcome to you as well. So let's jump right in talking about mastering the Finder on Go for Lunch for April 21st, 2026. Brought to you by GoFor Technology. I'm Roger Harmon, your host, and we're here to make your technology work for you. Well, it's Thank You for Libraries Day. So our public libraries that provide us with books, as well as digital media, free Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and is a place I stop at between appointments many times. So I'm glad that I have a library to check into and get things done. So let's talk about the Finder. The Finder is that little happy face on the left-hand side of your dock, and it is one of the most important and critical apps on your computer. So do you know how to make the most of it? Well, stick around and we're going to show you some tricks maybe you don't know and review some things you maybe have forgotten. So the first part of the Finder we're going to explore is the sidebar. So this is the sidebar on the left-hand side of your Finder screen. And it is Navigation Central. It is the place you go to move between the different parts of the Finder. So the first section here is called Favorites. And this is where you have your applications, your desktop, your downloads, and your documents. And you can actually move in other things like we have the Set App application here into Favorites. And the next section is the locations. So this includes external and internal hard drives, like your iCloud drive, your home folder, an external drive, your internal drive, your Time Machine drive, your AirDrop network, and your trash. So you can drag and drop things like folders and applications right in there to give it one-click access. So let's see how that works. So we're going to go into our Finder here. And so let's say we want to go to iCloud Drive, and I want to find a folder that I use a lot, and that is GoFor Art 16. So I'm just going to put that over here into Favorites. You can see the little blue line shows you where it's going to drop. So now anytime I need any kind of art for the GoFor, I will just look at that. So that's the way that you can drag and drop things into the Favorites. So there's 4 faces of the Finder. Say that 4 times fast. There is the icon view, the list view, the column view, and the gallery view. So let's go back into the Finder and look at those. So they're up here at the top. And we'll just move this over here a little bit. So here's the icon view. So that is the view that, let me fix this here to, there we go. So this is the icon view, and it gives you a thumbnail. If there's an image, you can see what the image is, or a title page. So it kind of gives you an idea what is that file. So that's handy. And of course it gives you the name. So one little bonus trick here, if you want to rearrange the order that you can see here we've got zoom, and then we got eCam. So this is not in alphabetical order. So if you want to put it into alphabetical order, you go over here to View in the menu bar on the left here, and you go down to sort by, and then you can sort by name. So now everything is in alphabetical order. You can see we got the B's here and the Z's here, so it does the folders first. Then it'll sort a number before a letter, so you have these files that have numbers at the beginning, and then there's the A's and the B's and so forth. So that's a good way to organize your files. So then the next way to look at the Finder is the list view. So the list view gives you a little more information. Another thing you can do here on the list view is you can change the way that the columns are. So when you put your cursor on the little line right here to the left, you can move this over so you can see more things. So right now we've got a sort on here. We'll talk about sorting here in a minute. But the list view gives you more information. It gives you the date added in this case, or date modified. And you can make this a little bigger so you can read that. So we put that right there. There we go, date modified, and the size and the kind. So that's the list view. We have the column view. So the column view gives you columns as you expand a folder. So you can go to a folder, for example, here's one, and if you open the folder inside that folder, then it comes out into a third column. So you have the complete path here of where you have got all that information. And then the fourth view is the gallery view. So we're going to hit the little back arrow up here on the top to get back here to the main view. And so this one gives you a view. Let's see. So this gives you a full view. Here we go. A full look at what is in the file, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on what the file is. So then it also gives you information down here of the date created, date modified, the file type, the file size. So it gives you some good information there. So that is the 4 different ways that you can look at your Finder. So let's get back here to the So for some reason I'm not able to get back to my, let's see if we can close this. I see my computer seems to be frozen here. Nothing is happening. Well, let's try this one more time. Let's go to the dock. And the dock is not working out either. So I'm in the Finder. Let's try a different view here. Let's try, there we go. And looks like, let's quit. Let's quit. And it's not quitting. So we're going to have to try a force quit here. This is locked up. So I can't seem to get to the Finder now. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to reboot. So you're going to have to rejoin the broadcast from YouTube because I am not able to do anything. So I'm going to have to reboot, and yep, nothing's happening. So I'm going to be rebooting, and you need to come back and rejoin YouTube. So I'll be right back. Oh, I forgot where the turnoff was on the Mac Mini. Okay, we're back live. So let's get caught up here. There we go. And let's see, looks like we got one person that's back. So we'll wait a few minutes here to get everybody back. While we're waiting, we will say hi to Chris. And there's Chris. We didn't have to rejoin. We just re-accepted. Well, that's interesting to know. So that's great. So let's see. We got 5 people back. Okay, I think we got 6 people. And Leslie Ann is back. Okay. So we'll pick up where we left off. So we've got group versus sort. So you can group by clumping things together by kind and date and other criteria, and then you can sort the order of your list from A to Z or from Z to A. So let's see how that works. Welcome back, Alice. So we're going to go back into the Finder, and so we're going to go back to list view. And we're going to go back to our, let's go to downloads, for example. So we're going to sort by name. So you can do that 2 ways. You can do it here. And then you have a little arrow here, which is very hard to see. So when the arrow is up, it's sorted from A to Z. And when it's down, it's sorted from Z to A. So that's a good way to do it. Now you can also do a group. So this icon here at the top is the group icon. So it gives you several ways to group things by name, by kind, application, by different dates, by size, and by tags. So let's sort by kind. So then it gives you little labels here. So here we have documents, images. We scroll down here, we've got a movie, we've got music, PDFs, presentations, and other. So that's how you can group things and sort things. So we're going to unsort this. Okay. So you also have Quick Look, which is a great tool. It's built into the Finder using the space bar. It gives you an instant preview without having to open the actual application. So you click on a file to select it, then you click on or touch the space bar to turn Quick Look on. You turn off Quick Look by hitting the space bar again. So we call that toggling. Space bar on, space bar off. So let's see how that works. So we're going to jump over here to the Finder. And so we're in download, so we want to see maybe, so we click on a document here and we hit the space bar and it gives us the document without opening the application. And if it's a multi-page PDF, you see we have complete control. We can hit the thumbnails here on the right and go through the document. We can also, when we're in Quick Look, just hit the down arrow and go to the next document. So if we're in a multi-page PDF, that down arrow will go down through the thumbnails on the different pages of the PDF. But if, let's see, we're going to, well, here's some songs that we did a couple weeks ago. So we're going to go to the Quick Look here. Down arrow. And now hit the down arrow, hit the down arrow, and hit the down arrow. So that is the way that you can use Quick Look. So that's real handy, especially for cleaning out your downloads folder. So you can see what things are without having to open every application. So a new Finder window is another technique that's very helpful in moving files. So let's see how that works. As we go back to our Finder. So here we are. We have a window here. So we're going to click on the green button here and put this one, we're going to tile it to the right. So it's half the screen to the right. Then we're going to go to File and New File, New Finder window. And then we're going to go to the green button again and tile it to the left. Okay. So now we're going to, so we have documents here on the left and downloads here on the right. So when we clean up our documents folder, we want to, let's see, I want to do this. So I'm going to click over here and sort this by name and go down here to the bottom. And it looks like we're sorting a Z to A, so I'm going to sort A to Z. And then I'm going to come up here. And okay. So this is a zoom background here. So I can check that. Yep, that's what it is. I did a quick look. So I'm going to put that in my zoom window. So I'm going to bring it over here, drop it on top of the zoom folder, and boom, it goes in. When you're transferring, when you're dragging and dropping from one window to another, make sure if you don't want it in the folder that you just drop it on a file, and it will automatically go into the alphabetical order as long as it's not on a folder. So here I'm dropping it in the P's, and it automatically put it in the alphabetical order, PQ. So that's the way that works. So here, while we're here, let's look at another interesting little feature of the Finder. So when you're organizing things, if you got similar files, say in your downloads folder, you can grab those. You can either grab them by clicking on the first file and doing a shift click on the last file, and that gets everything in between. The other way you can do that is you can click on the first one and then hold down the command key and then select things that are not contiguous. So that's another way to do that. I want to get all of these, so I'm going to do, well, I guess I'll just finish my command click. So now I've selected these 6 files that are all the same, and I want to create a folder. So all I have to do is do a right click, and right here at the top it says new folder with selection of 6 items. So I click on that, and there it is. It's called a new folder with items. So now it's already selected, so I can change the name by doing just starting to type. I don't have to delete it. So I'm going to put in Desert AI Images, like that. So now that's how you rename a document and how you gather like documents to create a new folder. So let's go back here. And so we talked about renaming. So that brings us to questions. And do me a favor and share the GoFor Gazette with anybody you know that uses Apple devices. And tonight, the Tucson Macintosh User Group meets, and we're going to have a presentation by Logan White on accessing the Pima library services. And this is probably going to be appropriate for any library that you have access to that has these services available. So you want to join us for that. And the Zoom link is in the GoFor Gazette, which you received Monday about 7 o'clock in your email. And the Ask Me Anything meeting starts at 6, and the general meeting starts at 7. So join us tonight for a great presentation on accessing Pima library services. Okay, so let's get back here and see what you had to say. And we're going to get the comments here. And there we go. So let's go back here and catch up. So let's see here. We've got Leslie Ann. So, okay, let's see. So here she wants to know, how do I get my external drives and time machines in the Finder? Well, what you would do, let's just show you how to do that. So we're going to go to the Finder again. And so we're in the Finder. And of course I have my time machine, so we want to go to Go. Then we want to go to, so we're going to go to Go in the menu bar and go to Computer. And let's try that again. Computer. Okay, that's not working. Well, maybe I'm in the wrong menu bar here. So go to Computer. There we go. So here's my time machine right here, and I would just drag it in. Of course, I already have it there, so let's see if it'll let me. It won't let me drag it in twice. but that's all you do. So go to Go menu, go to Computer. That shows you your external drives, and just drag them over into Locations. So I hope that answers that question. So let's get back over here. And let's see what we have. So Chris says he's been a column guy from the first seeing it in 1992. Wow. And let's see here. Bob says, can you have one folder set to gallery view and another set to column view while you're with those settings stick? No, I don't think so. I mean, you can do it in different windows, different Finder windows, but in the same Finder window, I don't think so. And let's see. Bob says one of my albums from the past, back when vinyl was a big thing. I don't know if you were old enough to remember that. So we're talking about something I missed at the beginning there. And of course, you didn't have to rejoin. You just had to. I just reappeared. Well, that's great. Glad. Leslie Ann's back. Bob's back. Okay, Bob says, Quick Look works with a group of files too. So as a dozen of image files. So that's a good point, Bob. Thanks. And Bob's favorite Finder utility is default folder X. It's probably more than Roger will get into here, but for me, it's vital. I've been using it since System 8. So that is a utility that you can add probably from the App Store. And so can I go to tmug inversion? Not sure what tmug inversion is. Oh, in person. Yes, you can go to tmug in person via Zoom. We don't have a actual meeting where all of us get together in the same room. We do that every once in a while, but it's always on Zoom. And Leslie Ann says, mine aren't listed, only network and Mac. Okay, so I think we covered that. So thank you all for great input. I appreciate your participation. And if you have any questions, let's see. Leslie Ann asked, does that mean that my external drives aren't connected? Well, you should see your external drives in your Finder window. So if they're not showing up, there is a setting. So let's cover that. So let's go back to the Finder, or we're in the Finder. So let's go to, I'm not in the Finder, here we go. So you can go to the Finder, so let's go to our desktop by closing these windows. And closing these windows and telling the Finder to hide others. So you can see here I have an external drive showing here in my desktop, and my Time Machine drive is showing in my desktop. But you may not have those showing if you don't have a setting. So you go to the Finder and you go to Settings up here on the menu bar, and then you check here under hard drives. So if I click here under hard drives and then I close this, my hard drives don't disappear. That's interesting. So anyway, make sure that you go to Finder, Settings, and that hard drives is connected. So, for example, I could have my Mac Mini show up, and when I close this, I don't see my Mac Mini showing up. Oh, there it is, right there. So check that, and if they're not, then unplug your cables, unplug your power to your external drives, replug everything in on both ends, and they should reappear. So let's go back here, and let's go back here, and okay, hopefully that answers your question, Leslie Ann. Thanks for asking. If you think of anything after we finish, you can always call me or email me, and that information is coming up right now. So have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday at high noon for another Go for Lunch. Take care.